I'm Oya Gilbert. I have multiple myeloma, diagnosed in 2017, the day after Christmas. And this is my wonderful future fiance.
Carri Hellman, caretaker extraordinaire. The first thing I'm gonna say is don't listen to the life expectancy that they give you upon diagnosis. Mm-hmm. It was very generic. It was very emotionless. Basically, you've got cancer and it's about 5-year lifespan. You've got about 5 years to live.
Yeah, that time.
Like that was the delivery. Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously, we're past 5 years. We've got people in this conference that have been 25, 28. Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure what the longest is, but incredible numbers of years living with this disease.
And treatment, because that's the key.
With treatment, yes.
With treatment, you know,
so
and their quality of life is looking good.
Don't listen to them telling you that you're gonna die in 5 years, mm-hmm. because that's the most ridiculous statement ever made. Now, that's not to say that some people might not be aggressive whenever they're diagnosed. That's a whole different situation, but don't just take everything as science and this is where you're gonna fall into place. That's everybody's journey is different.
I agree. Just to piggyback what she said, I think the most important thing is to, make sure you stay. So I think there's two sides to this. You can either lean into it, or you can let it become the victim. I know everybody's different and has different breaking points, but like she said, I would highly, highly encourage everybody to understand that this disease does not define who you are. You have the disease, you found out you had the disease, but prior to that, before you had the disease, whatever you were and whatever you were doing, you're still that person. And so afterwards, it doesn't mean that you can no longer live your life. You just have to make adjustments, and it's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
There's no destination. It is every day is a journey.
Every day is a journey. But I will say this: whatever they tell you, things get better. It's just like this. I'm 5 years in. I'm sure if there was a 22-year person in here, they would tell you the same thing. It's a roller coaster, but I really don't know how's that any different than your life before cancer. You just didn't see it that way because you didn't have this thing in your face. But your life that's how life goes. And so,
but once you have a name, once you have a name on it, a label on it, mm-hmm. all of the symptoms and all of the things that got you to your diagnosis are still here. Mm-hmm. But you make the adjustments based on knowing why these things are happening. It's different once you know. Yep. It's still scary, but it's not as scary because now it's explained.
And that's what happens over time. Mm-hmm. As time moves on, you start to learn that right there, I'm not gonna die. Or, that's
not a heart attack.
That's not that. Or, my kidneys are good. And and that builds that confidence. And then you start feeling like, okay, I can do this. So I would just, like she said, stay off the internet doing the deep dive, because a fingernail clipping too wrong will lead to death. Don't get too deep dive with the internet, but listen to your heart and take the information and just make a sound decision, because there's no perfect answer in this journey. It's cancer and it's incurable. And
understanding that your doctor is not the police. So if they tell you they want you to do a certain treatment and you, for whatever reason, don't believe that's right, talk about that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely talk about that.
And there's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion. Mm-hmm. Not that you need a second opinion to tell you about the disease, but just treatment-wise, and just the more information you have to make a sound decision. Don't overload. It's that happy balance, but that's life. And that's how this disease works. You're trying to balance your immune system with the therapy, and it's no different than what we're doing every day. So I just tell people to stay encouraged. We hope and understand there's 20-some year myeloma patient living now when science wasn't like that 20 years ago. That's what they should know. 20, 25 years ago, this was a death sentence. Well, 10 years ago. So, and it's not an anomaly. There's plenty of 20-some-year myeloma patients. So I would say stay encouraged with that and use that as something to latch into for encouragement as opposed to everything leads to death.